Bonjour tout le monde, Maxime Tardif. Cette semaine, chez l'équipe Tardif, Jonathan Ehrlick. Petite mention, cette entrevue-là est en anglais parce que Jonathan est anglophone. C'est un courtier immobilier de chez EXP. Pour ceux qui ne le connaissent pas, c'est le fameux courtier qui a fait un billboard torse nu dans le West Island il y a à peu près 1 an. Et beaucoup de gens ont fait des commentaires disgracieux envers son physique. Puis là, Jonathan est revenu avec un post récemment en se montrant en pleine contrôle de ses moyens. Il s'est mis en forme. Il était déjà en forme, mais il s'est mis encore plus en forme pour démontrer aux gens que c'était possible de faire des changements positifs dans la vie, de tourner le négatif en positif. Donc, vraiment une super entrevue. On parle de plein de choses. On parle même de guitare ensemble. Donc, j'espère que vous allez apprécier. Pour moi, c'était vraiment une belle rencontre. C'est la deuxième fois on passait un moment ensemble, moi et Jonathan, et vraiment une belle rencontre. Alors, pour les gens, so people who are going to be listening to this interview is going to be in English with Jonathan Ehrlick. Jonathan Ehrlick is the infamous agent who put himself on a billboard in the West Island last year. And a lot of comments were made to him, some positive, some negative, about his billboard and about his physique. And he made a post on Facebook a couple of weeks ago saying, hey, look at me, I'm back in shape. I'm there to inspire people. So he's going to be here today to inspire people. Hope you like it because I really had a good time speaking with him. So thanks for listening. And don't forget, 5-star review are amazing, outstanding. We're happy to get those. And don't forget to comment the video and to share it if you enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much and have a great day. Jonathan Ehrlick, I'm so glad to have you back. I mean, you're an outstanding agent. You're a great person. You made a lot of people talk last year with your billboard on Highway 40. Take me back to that day, Jonathan, because we did a live a couple months ago. In that period of time, you talked about the billboard, but a lot happened since then. And it's funny, the reason why I called you on this podcast is because I think everybody was wondering, hey, what happened to Jonathan since then? And you emerge back on the social media, and this is just gold, you know. You come back explaining that you do a post explaining that you were body shamed at the time you did that billboard, and I was a witness to that. I saw that, and I actually invited you on the live because of that. And no one got too much outrage about this. You know, people got outraged about the billboard. No one got outraged about the reaction from people to it, which I think was the problem. Was not the billboard, was the reaction from the industry. And now you emerge back a year later, saying, well, you body shame me, and now look at me. I took action. I'm in shape. I just love this. So glad to have you here, Jonathan. Thanks for accepting the invitation.
Honestly, thank you so much for inviting me back to come and chat. I've followed what you and your brother do. You guys are amazing. I watch it all, so I'm happy to just get the opportunity to be a part of it and get to share my experience with you guys too. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hey, thanks so much. So to people who did not hear about you before now, because a lot of people are new in the industry, tell us what happened exactly. Why so many people talked about you a year ago?
Yeah. So basically, I wanted to put out a billboard, and I was going through different iterations of what the billboard could be. And there was this funny thought of, what if I did the billboard from the movie I Love You, Man, where he's in the bed with his shirt off, saying I could sell your house in my sleep. And the more I started thinking about that as an option of what I could do for the billboard, the more it became the only option for me to do for the billboard, until I ended up going that route. And when it happened, it exploded. It went pretty much viral in the real estate community. I had people from BC who were talking about it, reaching out to me, because EXP is the brokerage that I'm with. They're global. So people in BC that I was talking with were like, you're out here. Your one billboard made it all the way here. And then I had a friend from high school. She lives in Florida now. And she sends me a message on Facebook, and she's like, my husband just sent me this. And it was the picture of the billboard. And I'm like, it's in Florida. How did it get to Florida? Just one billboard. So yeah, so that's kind of the story. And then to your point about I guess there were negative aspects, and I want to talk about the positive aspects too, because there were so many positive aspects. But there was this small group of people who were upset with it, and one of the biggest things that they were upset with was that it was twofold. One, they thought for some reason what I do with my business would affect their business, and then the other one was, shaming my physique. And to your point, it's nice to be able to come back out after taking some time to work on myself and to take care of myself and do what's right for me, to come out and be able to say, well, look at me now,
So I guess it's one of the positive aspects, because people took a stab at you and you came back and said, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to go and work out. That's what you pretty much said. And you did. So what happened then from then? What did you do exactly?
So basically, I guess at that time, with everything that was going on with the Billboard, there was obviously La Semaine de Julie, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff. We had done the podcast together at that time too. And then life kind of continued, but that was always a part of it. And that's always going to be a part. I think this is the most wonderful thing about this is I now have one of the most fun talking points that disarms people whenever I meet with them. Like I'll go and show properties with a client, and then I'll go to give my card to the real estate broker, and the real estate broker is like, oh, no, I don't need your card. I already know who you are. And my client will look and be like, but you don't know him, but he knows you. And all of a sudden there's this dynamic now that I'm cooler than I actually am. But, and then on the flip side of it too, in terms of working with fresh clients, people now, they Google you, they look you up. And on the internet, I have a lot of positive reviews on my Google business page, and I have a lot of different stuff that's out there. So I've actually had a couple of people come back to me and say specifically the reason that I'm working with you is because you're so different than everybody else. And that's kind of been the thing that has shifted from that. So it's not just the Billboard now, it's building from on top of the Billboard. And I think the Billboard was the launching pad to get to being a little bit different and a little leaning into that a little more.
So you're saying that people want different, and I really want to touch base on your training regimen. But one thing that you mentioned is people like working with you because you're different and you have good reviews, and it touched points with me because I do believe I'm different and I do have good reviews as well. So how do reviews help you out in your business right now?
Well, I think for people who do things that are different, oh my God, the sun just got so bright here. But yeah, I think for the people who do, just slide over here really quick. People who do things that are different, especially if they're a little bit more risky, having the support of the reviews that you do very professional and very quality work, that helps people be able to see what you're doing, realize that it's fun and it's in jest, but also trust you as an expert as well.
Correct.
So I think and now everyone's on the internet. When they're going to search for you, they're going to look you up on the internet. If they don't find anything, maybe they'll still be okay with working with you, and that'll be okay. If they find bad stuff, that's going to kill you right there. And if they find really good stuff, that's going to help you a lot. So I'm very fortunate to have a good Google review page. It's
very important. It's we live for that, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's almost nerve-wracking. You get one of those review one day, like, oh, you got a new review. Like, oh shit, it better be a 5 stars. I got, because and most of the time that's what it is, So this is exciting. But you work for that, and you have to maintain the quality. So basically, funny, but not goofy and an expert in what we do. That's what we want to be known for, and easy to do business with. And I think that's the thing about people who are, outside of what should be an agent. Usually an agent should be someone more business-like looking, and we are more lean back, and I think easy to do business with. That's what I want for my client.
Yeah, I want it to be. It's a daunting and scary process often, and if you make it more nerve-wracking than that, it's not helping. So
Correct.
by being able to disarm and take away some of the stress by saying like, no, don't worry, we've got this, but also let's have fun, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something that's not fun. So,
going back to your training regimen No, I'm there. Okay. Going back to the training regimen that you put yourself through, what was the click that made you work out and do something else? Because it's not a matter of being in shape or not. It's a matter of getting older and you want to be on top of things. And I said to everyone, if you want to do business, if you want to do real estate, if you're not in shape, you won't be in shape mentally either, because it's so tough, so difficult what we do mentally. It's 24/7. I get phone call at 6:30 in the morning from client. That's what we do. I mean, and I'm not complaining about it. It's a great business. But tell me about what happened to you and what you did exactly to get back on track. And I'm not saying you were not in shape. I'm saying that there were comments, and obviously you evolve. So I'm talking about evolution here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's for me, it was a mindset thing. My struggle is I used to be in really good shape when I was working in my previous job that was more physical. We were running around all the time, and we had a gym at the work, so I could work out all the time. But then when I fell off out of that and started working on other things, and needed to focus in some other areas, and I took focus away from my health and fitness. It was harder to get back into it. And it was the idea that if I can't do something 150% or 110%, like give it everything I can and follow the regiment and everything it's so daunting. It's such a big thing to try to do. And that was what I was doing to myself. And I realized there was a period during the lockdowns when we were in curfew that I was not in control. I was not in control of life. I wasn't in control of my life because we were locked away. And I said, what am I actually in control of? And I'm in control of the things that I choose to do. So I chose to start working on me, because that is the best investment that you can do. Like you were mentioning, when you start working on taking care of yourself, all of a sudden your mind gets better, and the people around you start to realize you have more energy. You are just a beacon at that point, and things come to you, and your life just gets better. So it starts with that one thing. And that was my mindset shift, to start saying, okay, maybe today I don't feel like doing a crazy workout, but I'm just going to get myself in there for the habit of being in there and just slowly work on it. To the point where now it's kind of more ingrained in habits and doing it more often. I'm also very fortunate. I built out a gym in my house, and when I say I built out a gym in my house, I'll probably put this on social media at some point to show my gym. But I have like a full gym in my garage, like with a squat rack, with a functional trainer, the pulley systems, all the dumbbells. Like I have a whole.
It wasn't there before the Billboard, right?
I've been slowly working on it. It's always been something that I've been enthusiastic about, but I wasn't using it before then.
So what were your thoughts before you actually decided to post this? What happened? You just said, here I am back a year later, and to kind of reignite the whole thing. Was this a process, or?
Yeah, I think it goes back to that mindset shift. So you and your brother, you guys make a ton of content. You're everywhere. Like, people don't realize how much effort that takes. The omnipresence that we create for ourselves, it doesn't happen. You make that happen. And it's chipping away at it and doing it. And I'm so inspired by what you guys do, because you do it at such a high level. It's amazing. And I want to do that. That's something that I'm working on to build for myself too. And I realized that I'm doing the same thing that I was doing with physical fitness, with this omnipresence, with this social media, with all of it. I was saying, well, if I can't have this full structure of every single thing that I want to be perfect, then I can't do it. I'm just not going to do it. And I stopped doing it for a long time because of that. And I said, you know what? No, start small. Start with little things here and there. And this was one of those things that I was saying, you know what? I'm passionate about this. I like this. I'm going to put this out into the into the ether, into social media, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm going to slowly start being more active and responsive. So.
What happened? Did you get a lot of engagement with this post? For me, it was like, click like this, because I was so happy to see you back there. And I love you, man. Really, like the Billboard. I do love you. I think you're a nice person, and I think it's a positive. It's positive in the industry to have people who are actually trendsetter, trailblazer. They don't care about what is done. I'm going to do something different. What was the reaction to that post?
I don't know. It was one of those things where I think I had one person who was like, did you, is that Photoshop? Like, is that Photoshop? And I was like, oh my God, I didn't think that was Photoshop level, but no, that was a nice feeling. It was positive. And it's one of those things that we don't see for anybody who's worked out and trained and gotten to a point. They don't see the results themselves as much as other people will. So that was one of those things where I was like, I know I feel better, but I don't feel like I'm at the best conditioning that I've ever been in. I just feel better. So I want to put that out there. And the response was very positive. It was nice to get people direct messaging me, talking about different things. And the whole idea behind that post too was to be positive, to share what I was saying. Even in the post, it says anything that's worth doing is worth doing poorly. And it's the whole concept of just do it. Just do a little bit. It doesn't have to be this big thing. It can be.
That was a great thing, because it was not about bragging. It was about inspiring other people. And that's what I like about you. You put yourself out there, and it's not look at me. It's look what you can do. And that's what I got from this post. And it's a great thing about your mindset. That's the way I see it. Because a lot of people would be out there and say, "Oh, look at this guy showing off." But if people understand what you do and who you are, they totally understand. It was like look at what you can do for yourself, and that's what I liked.
Yeah. Oh, I think we got okay. Yeah. So that's one of the things about putting yourself out there that I find is so difficult, because it's like putting yourself in front of a bunch of critics, right? It's scary in a sense, and I think that we put a lot of that fear in our own mind. Mm-hmm. Like I sat there waiting to post that post, rechecking everything to make sure that I wasn't offending anybody, and that I was putting the right message forward. And I think over time, as I get more comfortable with that, I'll be able to just push forward with the types of content that I want to be putting out there, and the types of messaging that I want to put out there. Because if we can do something to positively impact people's lives, like we do already in our jobs, we can build on top of that. That just goes hand in hand with what we do, and I love that. I'm so passionate and enthusiastic about just being able to do more. So yeah, and that's why I see people like you and your brother, and there's another agent that I follow called the Broke Agent. They put out content that is just, I don't know if you follow the Broke Agent. You follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just so inspired by what can be done with our profession and how you can reach people in different ways.
Well, yeah, you have to do, for myself, I have to do things that I like to do. And that's the thing, I don't like to do stories. I don't like to have my private life out there, because, it's something that I keep not secret, but for me, it's to set an example. If my kids see me posting stories all the time of my life, I don't think for me it's positive for them, because you don't need to show your life to everybody. And I don't say that stories and stuff like this are bad. I'm just saying that it's not my thing for me. But my thing would be more like sharing discussion like this one. And if it can inspire other people, clients, agents, to do better business, or to understand who we are, or to want to do business with us. I went to do a marathon last week, and walking out of the porta potty before the race, and this guy is calling out to me, say, "Hey, Maxime," I'm like, "I'm just so sorry. I don't know who you are." He said, "No, don't worry about it. I'm just listening to all your podcasts." So I thought that was really cool, because people know you for other things than being an agent. They know you for sharing content, for caring about other people, because this is what it's all about. What we're doing today, we're caring about people. We want to share them stories so they can get inspired and want to do something better for themselves as well.
And I think that is so important, because the goal of this, I think a lot of people would look at something like this and say, okay, well, I can use this as a way to generate. I think a lot of people would look at social media and other types of avenues as like a way specifically to generate some sort of business. And it doesn't need to be that. All of that comes. It all is there. But it can literally just be about what it is. And if that's what it is, it's so much more pure, and people will actually, once again, you become a beacon. People are drawn to it, and they know that. So I love that. And it kind of goes to what I was saying before about having that professional background where people have already validated that you are a professional. I think that gives you the license to take certain risks and have some fun too.
Yeah, correct. And I think the key takeaway from this, what I like what you said, is being a beacon. And it's funny because it's the way I feel about my business, that I don't do so much advertisement. I don't post, I sold this and that. And it's not wrong, but it's just something that I don't do. People come to me because they want to work with me. And probably the same thing for you. They go to you because they want to work with you. They know that you know about your business. They've seen you out there. They've seen comments. They've seen reviews. But you became the person that they want to spend time with and they trust. And those are the things that really matters, I think.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I was talking with a broker the other day. He's a younger broker, and he was on the phone talking with somebody, and somebody said, you sound young when he was talking on the phone with him. And I said, okay, well, that's interesting. You had somebody tell you sound young. So you must have said something or done something in the call to make them feel like you're a young person, because on the phone, everybody, you can't tell if someone sounds young or old. He's got a normal voice. But flip that. I met a client the other day, and when she saw me for the first time, and she said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were so young." And it was just because of the conversations we were having on the phone. She was like, "Oh my God, I thought you were like, a much older broker."
Yeah.
So, you get both sides of it. It's interesting.
At 43, you get really happy when someone tells you that now. Oh, you're real young. Thank you so much. I'm not that young anymore. That's what I tell them.
You guys are still young. I see what you guys do. Young is up here too, because I see you guys out there.
I tell everyone I feel like I'm 25 anyways, so it doesn't matter.
That's it. I mean, you probably feel better than a lot of 25-year-olds that are out there because you're actually taking care of yourself.
Yeah, correct. And I see people my age actually, and it's alarming, the condition of people these days, because you have one life, and I'm not saying that you need to be running ultra marathon in life. You just need to carry yourself, and it's for people around you, for your family, for your spouse. You need to be somehow healthy, because it goes south really fast. I see people who are like 60 something and they look like they're 80 something, and it's because they did not care for themselves for so long. And
I have a client who works for the CLSC, and she was just telling me actually today. She said, I went to do an in-home thing with a person who is 101 years old. And this person is 101 years old, going up and down the stairs, doing their own law, taking care of themselves, 101 years old. And I think about people that are 70 who can, and nothing to say anything bad about people who are, maybe there's a health condition, there's some issues, but that's 30 years. That's 30 years of life and quality of life that is huge. And those decisions that we make younger will impact us later on. And it takes a while before you realize that. When we're younger, we think we're invincible and we can just get away with not taking care of ourselves. But it catches up very, very quick. And then you'll see people who are in their 40s or 50s, and they're like, well, I can't do that because, I have some sort of an injury, because they didn't want to work through it or do the work or put it in. Yeah. So I think that's important.
I'll tell you something. I went to a train the other day. I was training for a race. I was running in Orford, in the Eastern Township. And after four hours, I go up in the mountain to run, and there's this old man going up the mountain as I go up, and I come down, and he's in the actual parking lots, and he's losing his balance. It's like, wobbling a bit, and I'm looking at him, and then I go up to him and I ask him, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" And he says, "No, I'm fine." He said, "I have cancer. I have stage 4 cancer. I'm in chemo. I'm going to die, but I want to die on top of the mountain." So it's, I told myself, if someone can do that, I don't think there's anybody who can have excuses not to challenge themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was really touching to see this man. He was actually, he knew he was going to die. He just didn't know when. And he said, every day, Maxime, I go up there.
Yeah. It's, we take it for granted a lot of the time. We don't realize how important that is and how lucky we are to have that opportunity. But it is also one of those things that we make bigger than we need to. Yep. We just need to slowly do it. So you were actually asking about my regiment earlier, and I actually want to ask you about your regiment because I imagine we're very, very different. I like to build for more size than for more like endurance type running.
Yep.
So
yep.
A lot of what I do is heavier weightlifting. I follow more variable dieting rather than doing like a slow carb or anything like that for food stuff. And because I like to enjoy food, I think the best diet and the best workout routine are the ones that you follow. If you can't follow it, it doesn't matter. So that's it. I do a 4-day split. And then I do cardio in between. And my cardio is usually incline walking. My 4-day splits are legs, chest, shoulder and accessory, and back. And they're usually large lifts like deadlifts, squats, bench press, military press, stuff like that. So a lot of big barbell movements and then peripheral stuff. So yeah.
Good. To answer to your question, mine is a bit different, but it's different but similar. But it's more. You have kids, Jonathan?
I do not.
Okay.
I have an ex, and I'm still really close with her son. Okay. So I see him often, but he's not my own. No.
So story is, when you have kids, you do have to make up times. So I wake up in the morning at 4 usually. That's my time to wake up. I'll go for a run. There's always 100 push-up after my run. It's always the same thing. I do free weights at home as well, but it's not my main thing. It's really running and doing those things. I'm getting back into heavy weights and barbells and stuff like that. Why? Because I'm doing more and more trail running, and to do trail running, to be efficient, you do have to make bigger weights like this. And as you get older, it's proven that if you do heavy weights, it's better for your system. So lower reps, more weights. So I'm getting back into this right now to get ready for next season of trail running. But I do have another thing in life. My other routine is to play guitar. I'm a fan of playing guitar.
You said that in your other podcast. You were talking about your fingers.
Yeah.
The fingernails.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've always been noodling around on the guitar, but since COVID, just like you, I said, no, I'm not going to die on this earth without being like super good guitar player. and so I'm driving everybody's nut because I'm playing in my office, I'm playing at home, but I'm playing every day. Even some days I'm like, on occasion, I don't feel like picking up the guitar, but once I do, I just lose my mind. I could play for 2 hours, and my girlfriend is like, "You've been playing for 2 hours. Can we do something else?" Oh, that's fine. We'll do something else. But I have this thing in my mind that I'll be very, very good, not just any guitar player. I want to be someone who I can inspire other people to pick up things later in life and become super good at it. And that's what I do, So I have a regimen for that as well. I'm engaged in what I do, and I do it every day. So that's what I do. Aside from real estate and everything else,
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's nice to get to know the other stuff that you're doing too. So I remember you talked about the fingernails, and I was like, "Oh my God, is he playing classical? Is that what you're playing?"
I'm playing fingerstyle. That's what I like to do.
That's amazing. So,
yeah.
I always wanted to get into that. So I don't know if you've stalked any of my past stuff, but I used to be in a band. I played guitar for a long time. And I love classical music. But I tried to learn a little bit of it. I was more into the metal scene.
Yeah. There's a thing, a lot of people play metal, then they try to come to acoustic guitar, and it's a bit different. But it's so great. Have you watched this TV show, Nine Perfect Stranger?
No, I've seen it, but I haven't seen the show.
Anyways, the last episode, they're playing Queen Reich, Silent Lucidity. You know that song?
Which one, sorry?
Silent Lucidity from Queen Reich. It's you got to listen to this, man. It's a classic. So anyways, that's the final scene is that song. So I just pick up the guitar. I'm like, I got to play this. It's too good. And it's such a great feeling to just pick up your guitar and being able to play those songs. I mean, it's your brain at my age, at 43, you need your brain to be hooked on something positive, and it's proven that music is really, really good for your brain, and it does that to me, So it's especially with the stress that we have sometimes, it's my escape thing,
That's another one of those things that I eventually do want to get back into. I fell off because I was doing exactly the same thing, that mindset problem that I had. I had a guitar teacher, and we were learning all the scales and modes, all the arpeggios, everything.
You know that they don't teach modes anymore?
Really?
I know all the modes, I know all the scales, but then what the hell am I going to do with all this? They don't. And I started playing by ear this year, and it's a game changer because it's a lot of fun.
It's honestly, it's one of those things that when you're practicing, you feel like you're getting something done. My issue, it's like building something, right? Like when you build something and at the end you look at it, you're like, I built that. There it is. It's the same thing with music. You work on it, and then at the end you can show that to somebody and say, look at what I was able to do. Like, I'm proud of this. But with me for guitar, I did the same thing. I had a teacher, I was learning, I was playing. I had a little guitar that I would keep with me, and I had my main setup at home, and I would just sit there and I would be playing constantly. And it got to a point where I said, I can't keep this up. So if I can't do it at this level, then I'm just not going to do it. And I now know, but it took me a while to figure it out, that's not the best approach to take. And I should.
I think a lot of teachers do show you, and it's funny, we talk about real estate and guitar. A lot of teachers show you, play those things, do those things, or do the scales. But you have to put it in a musical context at some point, or else it's useless. And why would I play a Mixolydian scale over this, or over that, or Phrygian scale? That concept is weird, because you do have to know the structure of the song. And it's, at the end of the day, it's pretty much useless because your ear is the best judge of what's good or not,
Yeah. And, but I love the exercises though, every, like 1 to 3, then come back to 2 to 4, like run through each way. I love those exercises. It's like, I don't know, you create these licks and then you realize throughout the scales where they are. It's fun. But yeah, it ends up being a lot. And like you're saying, you have to love it. You have to enjoy it. And if you just get stuck in, okay, I'm breaking every 10 seconds trying to figure this out, it's too much work. Yeah.
Hey, final thoughts on any agent who want to take risk in life? Because that's what it's all about, taking risks and putting yourself out there. What would you like to say to them? New agent, old agent,
Oh, that's a very good question. I guess.
Don't be afraid. First, don't be afraid to get negative comments, right?
Yeah, I think you'll never be ready to take the risk. A lot of times we sit there and we plan to prepare to plan, and we try to figure out exactly what's going to happen, and we make it bigger than it needs to be. And I think the people who take risks, yes, sometimes the risks don't pan out, but sometimes they do in a big way. And you just need to be comfortable enough with yourself to take that shot. And you'll be surprised how more often than not, it will end up succeeding. You will end up getting something from it. It's, yeah.
One of my favorite quotes in life, ever, is one I think it's Albert Einstein who said that. He says a ship is always safe at the shore, but that's not what it's built for. And it's a lot of things that we do. It's safe to do nothing, to just being out there and just being on the sideline. But once you go out there and you want to sail your life away, that's where the magic happened, right?
Yeah. It's that safety that it's human nature. As humans, we're trying to protect ourselves. We're always trying to stay away from danger and keep ourselves comfortable. But that's also we grow. So that's a waste of a sail ship if it just sits on shore. It's built to sail. So get it out there. It's going to take risks. It's going to get hurt. But got to get it out there. I like that. Very cool.
Jonathan, thank you so much for being here. I mean, you're a great person. As I told you, I love the person that you are and what you do for other people around you. We've never met in person, but it's funny we don't need to meet people in person to know who are genuine and who are great person. So you are one of those person. Thank you for being here. Thanks for accepting to be on this podcast. A lot of people will be inspired by your story, I think.
Well, thank you so much once again for letting me be a part of this and for the chat. Honestly, it was it's always nice to get to chat with you and your brother and get to know who you guys are more. I don't like stuff on social media all the time or comment on things, but I have pretty much watched everything you do. Yeah, because I binge. I'm one of those guys who like binges, and I don't want to be there. Like I liked 15 of your things in a row, and you guys are like, "Oh, this guy's weird. He's like 15 things of mine in a row."
Well, you want one thing straight. I don't have social media on my phone. I only have LinkedIn. I don't use this. It's as much as I use it, I don't like being addicted to it. So I don't have neither. I'm not on Instagram. I have Facebook, but not on my phone. And it's, I think you have to do it responsibly. That's what you're saying. I mean, you cannot be always liking other people's stuff and commenting. So
yeah. And it's like the people who live for Instagram. That was like you were saying with the stories. If you were putting stories all the time, I tried to do that, and I felt like I wasn't living my life. I felt like I was living Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm showing somebody's life that I'm not getting to enjoy.
The thing, I'll tell you what, I'll be totally honest with you and people listening. I do feel like Instagram I'm sure it's a great platform. I'm not drawn to it because you can fake your life away there. And that's not the kind of relationship that I want with people around me. I want people to have a deeper, meaningful relationship. That's why I choose my people, the right way. It's funny because there was this guy, was it Les Brown, who said, choose your people wisely. And that's what it's all about. You want to spend time and hang out with people who are meaningful.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important. And I think it's something that's lost on us now.
Yep. It will come back. It will come back. I'm sure our kids will detach from this at some point, realizing that, hey, real connections are made out there with people. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Jonathan, thanks for your time. We'll be in touch, and have a great week. And thanks for listening, everyone.
My pleasure. And we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Sure.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.